Hello, Snakes. My name is Dante, and today it's Podcast Tuesday once again. And there are more Dungeons and Dragons spoilers. So there, it's 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 very cool. The dungeon mechanic has finally gotten revealed, and yeah, it seems cool. So, the podcast topic is top 10 best, or well, just the 10 dungeons and cards that use dungeons. So, yeah, that's just the dungeons cards, are just there's free dungeon tokens, and there are currently free dungeon tokens, and there are currently like 7 cards that function of dungeons. So there is one combo of the week and a non-bo of the week. So I decided to start doing reverse combos that, in addition to the normal combo, there's also a non-bo, which is literally just a reverse combo, which rather than helping you, it actually hurts you to assemble both cards together. So, combo of the week, and it is God Eternal Kefnet, Scroll Rack, and Time Warp. Infinite turns. So, it's turn 2 Scroll Rack, turn 4 Kefnet, and then on turn 5, just on your upkeep, exile Time Warp to draw a card, place Time Warp on top. Oh wait, well, not turn 5, or yeah, turn 6 is when you can start taking infinite turns, because on turn 5, you have to set the Time Warp on top, then draw Time Warp on your next turn. That's the first card you drew. It's instant or sorcery. You can just cast a copy for 3 mana. So you take a bonus turn after this. Pay 1 mana to use Scroll Rack. Send the Time Warp on top, or other cards you don't like in the hand, and just set them aside. But Time Warp on top. Then draw cards. Send the cards, including Time Warp, on the top. Next turn, you begin again, draw Time Warp, do this, and then you get infinite turns. So that's actually a good combo. Yeah. And for the non-bo, we got Mana Reflection and Damping Sphere. If you have these two together, now your lands tap for colorless. Yeah, that is what it does. Because Mana Reflection makes your lands tap for double mana, whilst Damping Sphere says if you tap for more than 2 mana, or at least 2 mana, with lands, if any player does that, it taps for colorless instead. So, Mana Reflection plus Damping Sphere make all your lands tap for colorless instead of tapping for double mana. Yeah, it just screws you over. That works with Mana Reflection and the one from Pharos Beyond Death, because the other ones that add an extra mana, it's the enchantment or the permanent that adds the extra mana, or the card that adds the extra mana, not the land that's adding the extra mana. But Mana Reflection doubles the mana from your lands, which means double mana, turn it into colorless mana. Yeah. That's just the effect of the Mana Reflection Damping Sphere non-bo. There's also going to be a non-bo every week, in addition to a combo every week. And soon there's going to be animations for the non-bos, in addition to the combos. Yeah. So, let's head off to the number 10. And it is Shortcutseeker. 4 mana, 2/5 human rogue with when it deals combat damage to the player, venture into the dungeon. Dungeons, well, it says now, enter the first room or advance to the next room of a dungeon, because if you have, there's currently 3 dungeon cards spoiled. If you just complete one dungeon, like, you can reset the same dungeon if you wish, or go on into a different dungeon to just yeah, that's how dungeon cards work. And like entering the next room into a dungeon or entering the first room actually triggers special abilities. And I can tell you, these abilities usually are good for you. There is one dungeon that actually applies negative effects onto both players, or if you try and do the shortcut, only you lose, not everyone else. So yeah. Okay. It's actually, and Shortcutseeker just allows you to venture deeper into the dungeon, like when it hits the pair. So it's actually very cool. Let's go into the number 9. And it is a simple 9. Dungeon Crawler. That actually doesn't venture into the dungeon, but say 1 mana 2/1 that enters tapped zombie, and whenever you complete a dungeon, you may return him from your graveyard to your hand. So it's just one of those recurable creatures that return if you complete dungeons. So it's one of those bad returning creatures, yeah. Unless if you do a dungeon tribal deck, that's the only way it works. Yeah. It's an interesting card though. But it's a 1 mana 2/1 zombie. I'm pretty sure there's better zombies than that. I mean, there's a 1 mana 2/2 zombie that actually enters tapped. That is definitely better than this one. So Dungeon Crawler is not going to be a good card, I think. So let's just go in to the number. I mean, it might receive some synergy if there's going to be more dungeons and more dungeon synergy and stuff. That, for now, it's not really that good, but I believe it will have some potential. Let's go to the number 8. The Golden 8. And it is Gloom Stalker. 3 mana 2/3 Dwarf Ranger. With as long as you've completed a dungeon, Gloom Stalker has double strike. It's an interesting card though, yeah. But it's cool. He gets double strike if you complete dungeons. I mean, it's just a common card. And like, I mean, probably would be better if it was a 3/3, but I mean, there's a 3 mana 2/2 with double strike that grows of revolts, but Gloom Stalker, I mean, it's a common. If there's gonna be a pauper dungeons, then this might be a playable card. It's actually an interesting card, though. Yeah. Number 8, Gloom Stalker, cool card. Let's just go in to the simple number 7. And it is a reprint. Evolving Wilds. Well, that actually doesn't use dungeon stuff, but I put this there because it's a dungeon module card. Yeah, say there's some dungeon module variants for some cards. Like there's Evolving Wilds, and then there's another uh, dungeon card, so another module. Like it's a new land, but then there's a Reprint Evolving Wilds as a dungeon module, so which is just I'm pretty sure it's gonna be some kind of out art, and it looks cool. And yeah, say land, tap, sacrifice Evolving Wilds to search for basic land, enter tap, and shuffle. It's just worse than Prismatic Vista and Fabled Passage. That's what. It's just. It's a dungeon module. That's why I put this in there. Because there's gonna be like a dungeon module uh, for Dungeons and Dragons. Adventure for character levels 1 to 4. I don't know if people are actually gonna play the modules. They seem fun to play. If your DM agrees on them, then alright. You could try and play those modules. You just need to find a party and a DM that wants to do so. Just your commander play group. For example, you can choose one as a DM and you just do the MTG modules on Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. It's gonna be cool, I think, yeah. Let's just go in. Or maybe if you're already in the adventure, you can try and convince your party members to convince your DM to do the MTG modules after their current module. Because I mean, some of them, I saw one just like levels 15 to 17 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you just need to try and prepare yourself for the module. Yeah. It's not actually part of the dungeons mechanic, but it's a dungeon module. So, I count this into this podcast. This is number 7. Let's just go in to the number 6. And it is Nadar, Selfless Paladin, 3 mana, 3/3 legendary Dragon Knight. No, Dragon Knight, not Dragon Knight. Yeah. But first time we gain a Dragon Knight. Remember the difference between Dragon Knight and Dragon Knight. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you all know Dragon Knight. Well, and of course, Dragon Knight isn't a legendary Pokemon, but this is a legendary Dragon Knight, not a legendary Dragon Knight. Yeah. Say as vigilance and when to battlefield or attacks, venture into the dungeon. And your other creatures get +1/+1 as long as you complete a dungeon. So it's an anthem that has that's a free vigilance at dungeons, basically, or does dungeon stuff. Yeah. Interesting. Nice card. Nadar, Selfless Paladin. Very good card, very cool. And yeah. But I mean, with the new Dungeons and Dragons set, why don't they just introduce new class creature types? Like Paladin could finally be a creature type. And yeah. Is Barbarian a creature type? I think it is, I don't know. If not, then they should make creature types for different classes. And yeah. It's cool, yeah. Warrior. Oh yeah, I think Barbarian is a creature type, yeah. And yeah. So yeah, Nadar, free mana, free. And it just does dungeon stuff and grows your other creatures. The anthem effect doesn't hit himself, that's the thing. But it's a dragon. Interesting. So yeah, let's just go into the number 5. And it is Lost Mine of Fandelver. What? Yeah, I think it's Fandelver, yeah. Say, so, first room, cave entrance, scry one, it's a dungeon. Yeah, token. Token dungeon. First room, cave entrance is the scry one. Second room, you can go into Goblin Lair or Mine Tunnels. If you go for Goblin Lair, you create a 1/1 Goblin. If you go for Mine Tunnels, you create a treasure. Then, if you were in Goblin Lair, you can go to room 3 storeroom if you wish to place a plus some counter attack creature. If you are in Mine Tunnels, room 3 you can choose Fungi Cavern instead of storeroom, which gives a target creature -4/-0 until your next turn. But regardless of the room, you can instead choose a different room 3 Dark Pool. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Final room, room 4 Temple Dumafoin. Draw a card, then you can exit the dungeon. So it's just a nice dungeon card. And yeah, 4-room dungeon. And you get to the end. Yeah. That's the card 5. Lost Mine of Fandelver. It gives a variety of different choices. But it's not a very powerful dungeon. Out of 3 dungeons, it's the worst of the 3. Now, to card number 4. And it is... Tomb of Annihilation. Another dungeon. Trapped Entry. Both players lose 1 life. That's the first room. Now, that's actually a 4-room dungeon or a 3-room dungeon if you want to shortcut the dungeon. Alright. Now, you can either go for Oubliette and discard a card, sacrifice an artifact creature in a land, so it just does a 1-sided small pot that doesn't remove life. Or go for 2 rooms. Veils of Fear, which makes both players lose 2 life unless they discard a card. Then Sandfall Cell, to make both players lose 2 life unless they sacrifice an artifact, a creature, or a land. And then, at the end of the dungeon, there is the 4th or 3rd room, the final room, yeah? Crown of the Death God. You create a Tropol, a legendary 4/4 God horror token with Death Touch. So, we're finally getting a token god. It's interesting. Yeah. We're finally getting a token god. Yeah. Not a god that creates tokens, but a god that is a token. Barrett is just an avatar horror, or just an avatar, I don't know. But yeah, that is actually a god card. Yeah, no indestructible though. But that's the number 4, Tomb of Annihilation. Now, the 3rd one. And it is Golden Free. Wait. Remember to do the inventory. Dungeon of the Mad Mage. That is actually one heck of a long dungeon. So, first room. Yawning Portal, you gain a life. Second room, dungeon level, you scry 1. Third room, you've got a choice between Goblin Bazaar to create treasure, or Twisted Caverns that makes a creature not be able to attack until your next turn. 4th room, Lost Level, scry 2. 5th room, either Runestone Caverns, which which you ingest 2 from yourself and then you can play them. Oh! That lasts forever, by the way. Or Muriel's Graveyard, that creates 2 1/1 skeletons. So yeah. That is room 5. Room 6, Deep Mines, subscribe free. Final room, room 7, Mad Wizard's Lair. Draw 3 cards and reveal them. You may cast one of them without paying its mana cost. Yeah, you can cast one of them for free. That is actually a powerful one, yeah. I mean, why is third room Goblin Bazaar and not Mine Tunnels, or the other way around, like Goblin Lair or Goblin Bazaars? That would make more sense, yeah. They could reuse the name of the room. But interesting dungeon nonetheless. Just a 1 free spell in the final room. Very cool. That's why it's my favorite dungeon so far. There might be more dungeons though. That's Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more dungeons. Now, let's go to number 2. And it is so, in the first round of spoilers, there was the alt art for Cloister Gargoyle spoiled. But now we got the normal art, so that's why I'm reusing the same spoiler. Because now we know what the normal card looks like. 3 mana 0/4, artifact creature Gargoyle. When entered battlefield, venture into the dungeon. And as long as you've completed a dungeon, gets +3/+0 and has flying. So, it only works if you're playing a dungeon tribal deck. So it turns into a 3 mana free form that flies. Not bad though. And also allows you to enter dungeons. So, currently you can just, with this, either use Scry 1, make both players lose a life, or gain a life. That's the 3 options, yeah. But maybe if you're already in a dungeon, it just continues the dungeon. And if you're already in the dungeon, then that means you're playing dungeon cards. So, Cloister Gargoyle can complete the dungeon. You can complete the dungeon in this deck, and then it flies and gets stronger. It's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting card. 3 mana, 3/4 that flies? Wow. That's gonna be good. So, let's go to the final card, the number 1. And it is Eliwick Tumblestrum. 4 mana, 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker. Eliwick with +1. Venture into the dungeon. -2. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature type card from among them and put it into your hand. If it's legendary, you gain 3 life. And then put the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. And then -7, you get an emblem with creatures you control have trample and haste, and +2/+2 for each differently named dungeon you have completed. Yeah. That is a very cool planeswalker. That's the second planeswalker from the set spoiled so far. Chances are we're getting 3 planeswalkers this set only. I mean, we might get a flip planeswalker card, but that's what we hope, because, I mean, in the past 2 sets, we had 4 planeswalker cards, because one of them was a flip card, in which the other side was not a planeswalker. So chances are we're getting either 3 planeswalkers or 4 planeswalkers if we have the flip card. But no flip cards have been spoiled yet. Which means, I mean, I think the Dungeons and Dragons set is replacing a core set. So, this probably counts as a core set. So, there won't be flip cards in there. But there might be flip cards in the upcoming set, which is probably going to be an Innistrad set, I think. Yeah, it's going to be like vampires and werewolves and stuff. Might be a different play though, but I'm pretty sure it's Innistrad. So yeah, that's the number 1. And congratulations! You've reached the end of the podcast. So why don't you like and subscribe and follow if you aren't already. Share with friends. Stay tuned for interviews, streams, and podcasts. Podcasts will be live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. GMT or 6 p.m. CET. So stay tuned to them. Watch my other videos too. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And